Giovanni Vitrano Memorial Scholarship Dinner. It excites me every year to get up here and do this, to see just bright young faces and athletes and families. It's truly a blessing to have everybody here tonight. You can see our finalists. We have Uriel Carrillo. I'm gonna mess his name up on it. Of course, we have the Smith family. Kyndal's right there. And then Burleson and the Burleson family over here. So before I get into it, the reason why we're here is because of Giovanni Vitrano. Giovanni passed away about 3.5 years ago here in a tragic accident, but he loved soccer. Played for Coach Warner for many years. Played for Leon. He was a keeper. The night before he passed away, he was on the Leon bench cheering on his team and still being a part of the soccer community. So when it all happened, I thought, what can we do to make this right, make it good? And a scholarship to help promote soccer in Tallahassee certainly was the first thing that came to my mind. That's where I think he would like to make a difference. This is the 4th year, and we've had 3 wonderful years, and as you can see, 9 absolutely wonderful winners. The fields get better every year. It's unbelievable. We do have a former winner here tonight. Maddie Kopka is right there, so give it up for her. It warms my heart she's here because she knows what it means, and she was a part of it. And if her voice wasn't going, she would have spoke tonight. But she's getting, everybody's getting sick. But she did say beforehand that the first $1 million she makes goes to the foundation, right? Sort of something like that. But it's an honor to have everybody here tonight. So we've got our 3 finalists, and in no random order, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about each student athlete before we announce who the 3 winners are or what the 3 winners are. I'm going to start with the Burlesons. Might as well start over here in Gray Burleson. When we do this, we look at different categories in the classroom, outside the classroom, on the pitch, and maybe when we talk to references, something we didn't know about a person. So we find out a few different things. So I'll touch on those topics when I talk about each athlete. So with Gray, we're going to start with in the classroom. A 4.6 GPA 13 AP courses, and a member of 6 honor societies with leadership roles. Very active. A president of the student government her senior year, vice president junior year, 9-time Florida Athletic Coaches Association scholar athlete. And her AP language teacher, Lee Norman, had this to say about her in the classroom. Gray excels in 4 key areas: drive, leadership, resilience, and school engagement. She consistently seeks to understand and improve rather than just achieve good grades. And then there's stuff outside the classroom. She founded an organization called Center Forward, which donates new and used sporting equipment to those that need it. Most of the equipment goes to, I believe, the Tallahassee Boys and Girls Club. But what a great initiative to start a program like that. It's truly incredible. Her personal reference, a middle school teacher, Mary Laura Bragg, had this to say about her. Gray shows gratitude and is grateful for what she has and grateful for what people are willing to give of themselves to her. She's incredibly respectful of people's times and talents and wants to pass that along. If she were to win a scholarship, she would make the foundation proud and would use it in a way that would not only help her, but help those around her. And then there's on the pitch. She was a team captain on a Maclay team that went 12-4-2 before losing to PK Young in the States. She led the Marauders with 15 goals and 39 points. And her coach, Sarah Van Tassel, who's right over here, said this about her. I would move her to positions she didn't normally play. She always performed and never questioned coaching decisions. She was the leader. She held everybody accountable, but didn't have to be their friend, even though she was. She knew when and where to be serious. What's up next for Gray? Going to Wake Forest, huh? Now, I admit we check everything with our candidates, so I was stalking you on Instagram, and you did say this. I left a little bit out of it that I thought we shouldn't say here, but no, it was nothing bad. But she said, I am 100% committed to Wake and plan to major in business and communications with a minor in marketing. I plan to rush in the spring and hopefully play club soccer. Our first great candidate, Gray Burleson. Let's give it up for you. All right. Where are we going next? We're going to go to the Smith family. And Kyndal Smith, who we'll start about in the classroom with Kyndal. Now, even though she battled through test anxiety, which is a condition she suffers from, she maintained a 4.1 GPA at school, which is pretty incredible. It's a tough thing to do. I noticed that you almost take a blue-collar approach to academics. And you pretty much said it in your application. And I'm going to quote you. You said, I didn't meet the Bright Futures benchmark, but I learned that tests don't define me as a student or a person. Staying positive and working hard are the keys to my success. Well, for 3 straight years, she was named to the Florida Athletic Coaches Association All-Academic Team. She's also a member of the National Honor Society and also a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Kyndal's also a member, or her teacher, I want to talk about her teacher, John Hernandez, had a great glowing recommendation for her. He said about you, Kyndal's unique combination of work ethic, respect, and dedication sets her apart as a student athlete. She sets her mind to challenges and perseveres until completion. Kyndal goes all in on everything she does. What about outside the classroom? Stacy Smith, a personal reference and friend of the family, said this about you. She's not your typical teenager. Strong head, knows her goals, and works hard with a laser focus. Very mature, high integrity. Person of her word. Never seen a kid her age work as hard as her academically and physically. Very passionate, and she saved the best for last. A bright light. There's no doubt you stay extremely busy outside the classroom. You're a 4-letter winner in track. You play both club and high school soccer. High school flag football, right? Yeah, I like that. And you work at Couches, and you're active in your church. So a lot of extracurricular activities. In your essay, you talked about servant leadership. That's what your essay was about. And you said this: while volunteering at the Special Olympics, I used my leadership skills to organize activities that were inclusive and engaging for all participants. This experience reinforced the importance of patience, adaptability, and the joy of seeing others succeed, which are all qualities I honored on the soccer field. This also honored my late grandfather's legacy, whose number I wear on the field. His passion working with the Special Olympics makes me feel like I'm honoring him and making a difference in others' lives. Let's head to the pitch. You helped Chiles to a 16-3 record this year, losing to Ponte Vedra in the States. You were a 2-year captain, and you were a defender. They don't get the glory. Defenders don't get the glory in soccer. But you had 140 steals your senior year. You finished your career with 335 steals. So a great defender. Mr. Andy Warner, who I'm pretty sure coached her from the time she was little till now, had this to say about you. She is dynamic, so focused. The game moves with her. She wins the ball, and he couldn't stress this enough, every time. She is second to none defensively. That's a great compliment coming from a man that's seen many great soccer players. But it was a story he shared with me, Mr. Warner, that really told me about who you were on and off the field. Kyndal went to Mr. Warner and said, I'm going to play college soccer. And Andy asked her, what's your pathway? How are you going to get there? What are you going to do? Kyndal had a plan already laid out that measured her skills, her education, and the school needs and how they fit into each school and how they would create a path for her to get into that school. It's pretty impressive for your age. She went to showcases to meet coaches. She completed a package for each school she saw a fit and then brought it to Mr. Warner, who then helped in the process by calling those schools on her behalf. A good example of that, in the research that she did, Troy wanted Kyndal to go and play soccer, but her research showed her that they already had a scholarship player at the position she wanted to play and knew it would be tougher to get on field. So she realized she might want to go to another school. Well, I'm proud to announce Kyndal did get into that other school to play soccer, and she'll be doing that this next season at Valdosta State. So let's hear it for her. She chose Valdosta because her plan told her that was the best thing to do. Very bright. Let's give it up for Kyndal, who's our second winner this year. All right, we're down to one more. Uriel Carrillo. In the classroom. He's not only graduating from JP2 as the class, you want to say the word for me? Salutatorian. I went to SUNY Brockport, those words, you know. But also with an associate's degree from Tallahassee State College, where he's a member of the President's Honor Roll. So it's absolutely awesome. Here's the thing. He's pretty much a member of every honor society that exists. I could sit here for 2 hours and go down the list, but I don't think you'd want me to mention all of them. In fact, I think all of you will understand in a few minutes why I'm not going to sit here and mention all of them. But first, I'm going to go to outside the classroom, where you made me laugh for 20 minutes. And I laughed, but then I realized it's something we all should have done as students when we kind of ventured out into the working world. Uriel was a line cook and host at Hangar 38, where he managed frying and grill stations. He also said, and this is where I snickered, he mastered restaurant sanitation, dishwashing, bussing tables, and he learned the art of multitasking in a fast-paced environment. How many of us with our job in high school described it that way to people? Nobody. We don't do that. That's brilliant. I'm going to go on. He did some labor and construction for West Scott Construction. Electrical, plumbing, insulation, carpentry repairs, all at a nursing home project. He didn't leave it just at doing construction. He also found time to perform piano for the nursing home guests while he was there. Very impressive. Co-captain of the JP2 Aerospace Club, an astronaut challenge team. I don't even know how you do this. You perfected simulated shuttle landings, managed mission control systems, and led research for a 2025 Kennedy Space Center competition where your team finished in 3rd place. And finally, the one that made me laugh the most, you called yourself a championship baseball coach. I like that. For the Ruby Diamond baseball team of 4 to 10-year-olds. But it's not about being a championship coach for them. It's about what he taught them. Well, you said you taught them fundamentals, redirecting players from eating dirt is what you said. You ensured that they ran around in the correct direction around the bases. But more importantly, you said you instilled their love of the game, which is the best part. On the pitch. Let's move to on the pitch now. You were a defender, midfielder, for a JP2 team that finished 7-6-1 with a loss to Community Christian in the districts. Now, in your own words, you said, I've never been the most skilled player. And your coach, Kenny, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. You can for me if you want to. He said he knows he's not the best player. However, he will never be outworked. He's intense. He's a grinder. He leads by example. And he is the consummate team player. And it all goes back to being a defender. No glory, right? You just got to do the job. Well, you did the job on the pitch as well. What's next? I'm going to get to that in a few seconds, but I'm going to do something now I've never done before here. We have everybody who applies for the scholarship, they have to write an essay. And that's probably the toughest part. And one of the things as a board we look at a lot is it's really what separates a lot of our candidates apart. Here's what we ask them to do. Describe a lesson you have learned from playing soccer and share a concrete example where you applied these learnings in everyday life. You by far have had the best essay we've ever received. I'm going to read his essay because I think everyone in this room needs to hear it tonight. They need to take it home with them. This is what he wrote. You're only as strong as your weakest link. When I started playing soccer, I wasn't very good. I was young, inexperienced, and ultimately struggled to find a love for the game. That was until I met my friend Manny. He was 2 grade levels ahead of me, and he took me under his wing. He stayed after practice to work on passes and drills as often as I needed. And by the time I was in the 8th grade, I was a starter on the varsity team. I honestly still wasn't the fastest or the strongest, but I was committed to do everything I could for my team, and more specifically, the back line as a defender. Unlike forwards and mids, a defender receives no glory from goals or assists. Our job is to stop an opponent's opportunity before it happens. The defense sees the game differently, and because of that, no one is going to celebrate a defender like the defense. So it made our bond so much stronger. Eventually, during my sophomore year, Manny moved into the midfield, and I was defensive captain. As a defensive captain, I was tasked with maintaining the back line. When I stepped, we all stepped, right? When one of us dropped, we all did. We were a unit, a team, and a family. As a family, we win or lose together because if the other team scores, it isn't any individual's fault, but the entire line's. Because that's what being a team means. And then he got me choked up as he went on in his essay. I've experienced a life of a migrant child, attending 13 different schools and living in 10 different homes, always on the move towards the next crop. Each new school brought the challenge of investing in relationships that often had to be left behind just as they began to develop. While I may not remember every place I've lived, I vividly recall the people who welcomed me with open arms. Seeing the impact my soccer teammate Manny had on me, his commitment in helping me grow made me want to give back to others who could shine if someone invested in them. So I spent the last 2 summers working to teach migrant kids to read and write, focusing on those shifting to middle school. I knew that if a student was academically behind in middle school, the chances they would catch up to their classmates were slim. Ultimately, that would affect their opportunities for colleges and future careers. Soon after I started tutoring at the PAC Migrant Education Program, I met one young girl I will never forget. She was quiet and reserved and reminded me a lot of myself. As I approached her, I quickly realized that she could not read or write English. This seemed like a big challenge, so I committed to spending a lot of time with her, drilling letters, making sounds, and writing. As she began to catch on, her eyes developed to sparkle, and she wanted to learn even more, including recess breaks when she would sit near me to practice more, and during reading time so I could help translate words for her. Eventually, other kids began to follow her. Our recess consisted of light Spanglish conversations on the swings and a big group circle during reading time. By the end of the year, the class average reading score jumped up 3 grades, with hers jumping up 6 grade levels. I was ecstatic for her, and the class ended the summer by showing their appreciation by creating a thank you card for me, which I have with me at all times. It wasn't easy. Throughout the summer, we faced challenges, but we confronted those challenges together, we learned together, and we grew together. And he finished it out by saying this: my lessons from soccer have given me the confidence and desire to advance my entire community forward. I plan on advocating for underrepresented students in college by creating an academic support organization geared towards Title I schools. One of my favorite Hispanic sayings is, they buried us not knowing we were seeds. No matter the adversity, no matter the setbacks, we will fight, we will rise, and we will do it together. That's what being on a team means. What being part of a community means. And that's why soccer has meant so much to me. Soccer's most significant lesson to me was learned on the back line on the soccer field of my 8th grade year. We push together, we drop together, we all move together. We are only as strong as our weakest link. So we teach, we fight, and we prevail together. Uriel Carrillo, everybody, who is now chosen to school Michigan State. So that's what's up next for him. But an absolutely wonderful essay that I felt really taught a lesson and hit me here. So thank you for that. Wow, we have 3 great candidates, Uriel, Kyndal, and Gray. When we vote and we meet as a board, it's so tough. I just want to let each and every one of you know that you're each incredible individuals, and I wish everybody could win the big prize. We just can't do that. Hopefully, in the future, we can keep growing, but awesome job. More importantly, thank you for applying and supporting the Giovanni Vitrano Foundation. It means the world to me. But now it's time to announce a winner, right, Mike? Before I do want to thank Mike Famey. He's the vice president of the foundation. He's my best friend. He's the one who really helped launch it. So a big debt of gratitude always goes to him. Also, our board members, Tom Block back there. Most of you have heard Tom on the radio and seen him on TV. Emily Copeland and Ben Copeland, also members of the board. Emily is Giovanni's sister, and Ben is Emily's husband. And I also like to thank Ryan Kelly and WCTV for being here tonight to put it on the news. So big smiles, everybody, because you never know when they'll get a shot of you. But not to delay anymore. First, I'm going to announce we, of course, have a big winner, and then we have 2 second-place winners. Nobody finished in second place here. Everybody walks home with a piece of the foundation and hopefully something to help springboard you into your college and your life. So without further ado, one of our first runners-up is Kyndal Smith, winner of a $2,000 award. I need you to come back here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a knife, we're going to shake hands, we're going to get everything done. I'm going to make you, now this will come off, so hold it with 2 hands on the base. And smile for everybody. But everybody, you were absolutely awesome. Thank you for being a part of it. Let's give it up for Kyndal Smith. All right, our next runner-up for a $2,000 scholarship is going to go to Gray Burleson. Again, I'm like, shake hands. You get to all that news. Gray, absolutely amazing achievements. Thank you for being a part of it. Let's give it up for Gray Burleson. Which then leaves us with our $6,000 scholarship winner. Finishing in first place is Uriel Carrillo. Come on up. You should have learned it by now. We had two already. Awesome job. Thank you very much. I'm just going to close out by thanking everybody again for being here. It's an absolute honor to do this every year, and it's the most difficult time of the year for me. When I sit down and I look at all these bright futures, and then I keep looking at Giovanni, it drags you down a little bit. But it's because of you 3 that I feel great when it's over. I do. I feel rejuvenated and ready to go because I can see where your futures are going to go. And I want to thank you for being a part of it. Thank you, everybody, for attending. I'm going to say this. You don't go anywhere because Ryan may want to talk to you guys, right? So we still have some of that. Also, the pictures are yours. They go, the frames, the pictures, they go home with you, as well as the banners. And we have for each of you, I think it's, what would you call it, like a letter of recommendation, or that you can bring with you as well. So I appreciate it, everybody. Love you all. Thank you for being a part of it tonight. I really do.